Hello coders, I hope you are coding well. In the previous video, we created the pages for post coupon and get all coupons API. And in today's video, we will create the API to apply the coupon on the order. So let's get started. So we will go to the cart service implementation, and here we need to write a new method, and the return type for this method will be order DTO, and we need to name this method as apply coupon. And in the params of this method we will accept long user ID and we will accept string code. After this we need to inject the coupon repository in the class, so we can use @autovoid annotation, and here we need to write private and then coupon repository, and we can import this class. After injecting the coupon repository, we need to get the current active order of the user, and for that we can copy this line from our get cart by user method and we can paste it here. And after this we need to create a new object of coupon, and we need to set this value by calling the coupon repository dot find by code, and then here we need to pass the code, and then we will call or else throw method, and in this method we will throw validation exception and we will write coupon not found. Now let's import this class here, and let's import this coupon as well. After this we need to create this find by code method in our coupon repository. So let's go to the coupon repository, and here the return type of this method will be optional of coupon, and we need to write the query as find by code, and then in the params we need to pass string code. Now let's go to the cart service implementation, and here after getting the coupon code we need to write one if condition here, and in this if condition we will check if the coupon is expired, and for this we will call one method coupon is expired and we will pass the coupon in that method, and if this is true then we will return validation exception and we will say coupon has expired. Now let's create this coupon is expired method, and the return type for this method will be a boolean, and we can name this method as coupon is expired, and in the params we will accept the coupon, and here in this method we will create a variable to store the current date, and we can initialize this variable by writing new date. Let's import this date class, and after this we need to create another variable of type date, and we can name this variable as expiration date, and we can initialize this by calling coupon dot get expiration date. And after this we will write the return statement, and we will check our expiration date is not equal to null, and after this we need to write another condition, and we need to use our current date, and here we can use our dot after method, and then we can pass our expiration date. Our coupon is expired method is completed. Now let's go here, and here we need to create a variable, and we can name this variable as discount amount, and we need to calculate this amount, and for this we can use coupon dot get discount, and then we need to divide this value by 100.0 to convert this to double, and then we need to multiply the answer of this value with active order dot get total amount, and by this we can get our discount amount. And after this we will calculate the net amount by subtracting the discount amount from total amount. So for this we can write one double, and we can name the variable as net amount, and here we can call our active order dot get total amount, and then we can use the subtract sign and we can write here discount amount. And after this we need to update our active order and we need to set the net amount and discount amount in the order, and for this we can write active order dot set amount, and here we need to pass our net amount, and before passing this value we need to convert this amount to the long, so we can write here long. After setting the net amount we need to set the discount amount as well, so we will follow the same logic and we will call set discount, and here we will pass the discount amount, and before passing we need to convert it to long. And at the end we need to set the coupon in our active order, and for that we can call the set coupon method, and in the params we can pass the coupons. And after this we can call our order repository dot save method and we will pass our active order, and at the end we will write the return statement, and then we will call our active order and we will call the get DTO method to convert the entity to the DTO. Now let's go to the order entity and let's create a relationship of the coupon with the order. And to do that we can duplicate this user relationship, and instead of user ID we need to mention here coupon ID, and here we need to mention coupon entity, and we can name this as coupon. And after the coupon we need to create one method here in this order entity, and this method will return order DTO, and we can name this method as get order DTO, and in this method we will convert order entity to order DTO. And for this first of all we need to create the object for the order DTO, and we can name this as order DTO, and after this we need to write the code to set the order ID inside the DTO, and for this we can use set ID method and we can pass ID. After the order ID we need to set the order description and the address. After the address we need to set the tracking ID, the amount and the date. After the order date we need to set the order status, and for this we can call set order status method and we can pass here order status. After the order status we need to set the order username, and for this we can call set username, and we can get this username from user dot get name. After the username we need to write if condition here, and we need to check if coupon is not null, then we need to set the coupon name in the order DTO, and for that we can call set coupon name method, and here we can call our coupon dot get name method, and at the end we will write the return statement and we will write the order DTO. Now let's go to order DTO and let's create the coupon name property inside the order DTO, and for this we can write private string coupon name. Now let's go back to the cart service implementation, and we need to update this get cart by user ID method, and when we are creating the order DTO we need to check if the coupon is not null, then we need to set the coupon name in the order DTO, and here we need to copy this and we need to mention this in our cart service. Now let's go to the cart controller and let's write the endpoint to call this method, and here inside the cart controller this method will return a response entity, and we can name this method as apply coupon, and here we need to mention the path variables. The first path variable will be of type long and we can name this as user ID, and after this we need to mention another path variable, and the type of this path variable will be string and the name for this will be code. And inside this method we will write a try block, and in this try block we will create ordered DTO, and we will call our cart service dot apply coupon method, and in the params we will pass user DTO and code. And after this we will write the return statement, and we will write response entity dot OK, and inside the body we will pass order DTO. And after this we will write the catch block, and inside this catch block we will catch the validation exception, and we will name this as EX. And inside the body of this catch block we will write a return statement, and we will return a response entity, and then we will call the status method, and in the status we will return http status dot bad request, and then we will call dot body method, and inside this we will return ex dot get message. And at the end we need to mention @get mapping annotation, and for the path we will pass coupon slash user ID slash code. Now let's run our backend application. And as you can see, our application is up on port 8080. Now let's go to the Angular application and let's call this API. And inside our Angular application we need to open this customer service, and here we need to write the method call for our API. And for this we can copy this existing get card by user ID method and we can paste it here. And we need to rename this method from get card by user ID to applied coupon, and inside the params we need to accept one code. And for the URL we need to update it, and we need to write the coupon instead of cart, and after the user ID we need to pass another variable which is code, and we can get this from our param. Now let's save this customer service. Now let's go to our cart component, and inside our cart component we need to open the TS file. And here in this TS file, first of all we need to create a form, and we can name this form as coupon form, and we can import this. And after this, in the ng on init method we need to initialize this form, and for this we can use this dot coupon form, and we can use our form builder dot group method, and inside this group method we will mention the control as code, and for the by default value I will pass it as null, and for the validators I will pass validators dot required. And after this we need to write a method, and we can name this method as apply coupon, and inside this method we will call our API, and for this we can use this dot customer service dot apply coupon, and in the params of this method we need to pass the code which we can get from our coupon form, and we need to call get method, and then we need to mention the control name which is code, and then we need to use dot value to get the value. And after this we will subscribe our method, and we will write the arrow function, and after that we need to write the error method as well to handle the errors, and I will write another arrow function here. And if we got the success from our backend, then we will use snack bar, and we will show the message as coupon applied successfully, and at the end we will call our get cart method to refresh the page data. And in case of error we will again open the snack bar, and for the message we will pass error dot error. Now let's save this file, and let's go to the HTML file of our cart component, and here after this div we need to create another div, and we can give it a class of container, and after this we need to write one ng if condition here, and we will show this div only if order dot coupon name is equals to null. And inside this div we can start writing the form tag, and for the name I passed it as coupon form, and on submit I am calling apply coupon method which we just created. And inside this form tag we need to write the code for the control, and for this we can write the mat form field, and after the mat form field we can write mat label and we can write the code in it. And then we need to write the input tag, and for the form control name we need to pass it as code, and at the end we need to write the mat error tag to show the errors. And after this mat form field control we need to write the code for the button, and we can write here apply coupon. Let's save this file and let's run our application. And as you can see our application got compiled successfully. Now let's go to the browser and let's validate the functionality of apply coupon API. On the login form let's write the email for our customer user, and let's click on the login. After the login we can click on this cart button, and you can see an input here and a button to apply the coupon. Now let's write the coupon code which we created in the previous video, which is first 50, and then we can click on this apply coupon button, and as you can see we got the message coupon applied successfully, and the amount got decreased as well. Now let's go to our HTML code again and let's show the name of the applied coupon. And to show the name of the coupon we can duplicate this existing div, and here we need to write one ng if condition, and we will show this div only if we have coupon name in the order. And for the label we can update this to coupon applied, and here we need to access the coupon name from our order. Now let's save this file, and now let's refresh our page, and upon refresh you can see the applied coupon name. That's it for this video. In the next video we will create the APIs to increase and decrease the quantity of the cart items.